We built this A-frame outhouse 5 years ago and never actually finished it. So today we're gonna finish the inside and upgrade the toilet to this thing. When we built this a few years ago, the primary goal was to build a smell-free, clean outhouse that anybody would be happy to use. We never did finish the inside, but today we're gonna finish the walls with birch plywood, build some custom cabinetry, install a floor, and upgrade the toilet to what I think might be the best waterless toilet on the market. Before we get started on the inside, we need to fix some issues that have sprung up over the last couple of years. We initially just painted this door over many layers of old paint, and it started to chip away, so we're just going to kind of do a quick fix by scraping off some of this old paint and then just paint it again. I also want to take care of this one problem with the roof. A tree branch from this big maple came down and hit this panel, this shingle I guess you would call it, and put a hole in it. And it's not a big hole, and it hasn't actually leaked at all, but I'm gonna pull this out. I've hit all the nails out from the inside. I'm gonna pull this off and replace it, and then that way we just know it's not gonna leak on our new inside. Weird. This roofing product is discontinued, but fortunately I did keep a pack of these shingles for this reason exactly.
My coat.
Yeah, I don't want to breathe in all that dust, okay? So you stay back, because I don't want to blow it at you. Ready?
So this is our new toilet. We've been using the other one for about 5 years now, maybe a bit less, maybe 4 years. And it's been fine. It's honestly fine, but it does have a couple issues that I hope this one resolves. So this is a Think Tank waterless toilet made in Canada, which I think is pretty cool. This one's a Separate Tiny. It's also a waterless toilet, and we bought it mostly because of the design. It kind of looks sleek, but it's got some issues. This one was designed over a number of years to solve a lot of those problems. So I'll get into what the differences are. If that's something you care about, welcome to Toilet Talk. I actually did reach out to Think Tank about this toilet, and they gifted me this toilet in exchange for some marketing material, but my opinions on this are totally mine. We've had the opportunity to try many waterless toilets over the years, and after lots of research, I think this toilet might be the perfect solution for an off-grid setup like this. So I drew up these plans in SketchUp, and those are actually available in the description for download. You get a PDF and a 3D SketchUp document that you can open and just edit and change how you'd like. I just drew up a couple 4x8 sheets and then cut them out. And I could figure this out in SketchUp, but I didn't really have time, so I figured to do it the old school way and do the arts and craft route, where you draw triangles and see if they fit. And basically I want to maximize a single piece of this plywood and not have a whole bunch of leftover. So I've got the toilet kind of dry fit and started cutting up these panels after we've polyurethaned a bunch of them. And the first cut totally screwed it up. That's all right. Got enough wood, that'll be used for just a different wall. Yeah, I'm not good at cutting angles. Looks like it's gonna storm though, so gotta cover this up. The digital plans for this whole build are in the link in the description, and they're actually free for the whole first week after upload. This is just a thank you to my early viewers and a great reason for you to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next freebie. The weather's cleared up a bit, kind of on a roll, even though it's getting late. So I'm gonna keep working. I've kind of set up like a staging area here for the boards with shelving temporarily and my tools. And it's really nice just to like kind of have a spot to store things while I'm working. I'm usually just have stuff spread everywhere and it's pretty rough, but this is nice. So the project is delayed a little bit because I had to go get more sheet material. I also got some roll flooring. I was gonna get some click together flooring, but I spoke to the person at Home Hardware and they're like, yeah, that's never gonna work. It'll just buckle and get all wrecked in the winter. The stuff we use in the sauna did work. It does like curl a bit in the winter, but it doesn't fail. But apparently this will work. And this was way cheaper, so that's what we're gonna do. Katrina made me some lunch while I was out shopping. Her and the kid are just having a little hammock nap. Just gonna eat my lunch and then back to it. You always gotta write on the wall before you close it up. So I'm using some construction adhesive and just putting some dots of it on the framing, and then I'm going to tack it up with some finish nails just to hold the panels up. But the glue is going to be doing all the heavy lifting. So normally people might use a track saw for this, but I've just drawn a line here. And then I'm going to take a measuring tape and just measure 4.5 inches off that line, which is the width of my saw. And then I place this on that line, clamp it down or hold it down, and then I can rip up the line. Also using this known triangle to make sure that it's the right angle. I'm starting with paneling the two end walls because I want to be able to hide any sort of imperfections I make with my angled cuts. The side walls are going to cover that nicely, and those cuts should be easier if the building is square. Nature break. I've got the plumbing in for the toilet. Now this is a waterless toilet, and it looks like a lot of plumbing for a waterless toilet, but this is actually just for air. The last toilet just had an exhaust, and it basically took in air from inside the room and then brought it out through the inside of the toilet and out. And this one is more efficient because it's got an intake and an outtake, so you're not basically pumping, expensive heated air from inside your home and pumping it outside. And then there's the urine exit there. And I had to move it a bit from the old toilet, but we're supposed to caulk in or use sealant around all these fittings. And I should have gone through the wall. That would have been a lot easier. I just didn't want to deal with any exterior holes. So I went through the floor like the last one, and it just proved to be a lot more work, especially with the paneling. And now the paneling has to integrate with it. I don't know, it's a lot. It works. I gotta show you this. Look at that. Here's a tip. Before you use cement on everything, kind of dry fit it and then draw with a marker. You can take the whole section out, do up these fittings, and then you can put the whole section in all at once. I've got it all figured out, and I used mastic instead of normal caulking so that I have a bit more wiggle room and I can kind of move it a bit. This is what I'm talking about. It's this gooey tape stuff. You can form it and move it. And it's good for through the wall penetrations for waterproofing and sealing them. So first I'm gonna dry fit the toilet, make sure that I got this right. And then panels go up and I'm locked in. My nailer within reach. Oh, thank goodness. Perfect. I quickly covered these from the rain last night, but I wish I did a better job and took more care doing it because the panels are still wet. For the most part, they're okay though because of the polyurethane. When you're building something, for it to be kind of just rough, and you don't really pay attention to how plumb the building is, it really makes things difficult when you're trying to finish the inside. And that's my fault in the build, one of my first builds, but now it's a lot harder to panel. But it looks all right. You don't really notice. All right, time to put the roll flooring in. The floor is down, and now it's time to put in the toilet. I'm glad I put these in with butyl tape. It's gonna be really hard to pry it up, but I'm still able to. So this one, I want to bring it up just a bit. And this one a bit more. I'm stretching the butyl tape out, but I can pack that back in after. If you're wondering how we power things inside this little A-frame, we just do everything with a solar panel plugged into this 12-volt battery through the charge controller. Everything is wired with regular household wiring in case we change things down the road, but for now, the lights are 12 volts, the fan is 12 volts, everything is just running off this battery. I just need to extend this cable for the fan a little bit so that it plugs right into the charge controller. That way, if the battery voltage drops, the fan will also turn off. So the way this works is it diverts the liquids into solids, and it's got this manual flap for the solids bin, which I think is kind of an upgrade over the automatic flap of the Separate tiny toilet. On paper, the automatic flap seems like a great option, but the mechanism was a little finicky and didn't really enjoy using that. It was harder for kids too, like you have to sit back on the toilet, which is not like a natural seated position. It's got a way bigger bucket and it comes with all the parts you need. The fan is 12 volts, so we've got it just plugged into a battery, but it uses like a standard PC fan. I mean standard, it's like a high-end PC fan. It's super quiet, tons of airflow. But you could just replace that after a few years, and the other one was a bit more proprietary. This bucket, basically the way it works is it's got this added feature that every time you operate the flap, it rotates the bucket a bit. So you have more capacity in here, and then the front part is like this big funnel. So they say it's rated for 40 to 60 number twos, if you will, and that's a lot more than our other ones. So I'm gonna change it less often. And it just takes like a compost bag, you know, no proprietary bags, no proprietary anything, just regular size bags off of Amazon. It comes with all the plumbing and pipes and stuff for venting. So it's just like off the shelf stuff. I love that. I hate when stuff is like super proprietary and you have to buy like their adapter or like their bags. It's just kind of like an insult to the consumer, I find. I'm back here to finish up the A-frame, but it's pretty windy out and it's a little freaky. When we bought this property a few years ago, it came with an outhouse, like a standard hole in the ground kind of outhouse. And it is not looking like it's held up very well. I think I'll give this one last try before we say goodbye to it forever. I'm fine. All right, that's enough of that. Now that we're done putting in the toilet and we're using it actively, it's time to finish up the cupboards. The plan is to have some sliding door cupboards in the bottom part of the A-frame where it's kind of just wasted space. So I'm ripping some grooves in here, and you could do this with a dado blade, but I'm just doing this with a few passes. And then I'm going to put in some pocket holes, and then we'll be able to install that along the two sides next to the toilet along the wall. Admittedly, I didn't do a lot today because we had some guests over and we just enjoyed a nice day at the lake. So I'm going to work into the night a little bit and get some stuff done. I want to talk about the shape a little bit. We chose to make this outhouse an A-frame because we like the shape, and it lends well to how you use an outhouse. You don't really spend a lot of time standing up, so the slanted walls aren't really a problem. We did make this bigger than a standard outhouse, and it's much nicer to be able to move around in here and maybe, you know, take off snow pants in the winter. And there is some wasted space along the bottom edges, which is a perfect place for storage cupboards. Babe, there's something in the woods. That's it for tonight. We're wrapping up another day on this project. The last things to do is to finish up this ceiling detail and then some things on the sliding cupboards, and then we're done. I want to leave a gap up here so that hot air can escape the roof vent, and I want access to the electrical up here. So I made this keyhole design that will go around the light fixtures and just fit up there with some little screws to offset for the gap. And now we've got this nice little vent detail in the ceiling that can be accessed anytime we want. And to finish up this cupboard, I didn't screw down this bottom groove. I just basically attached it to the wall, and then I'm going to attach a support here to support the top shelf. But I want the flooring to be able to basically contract and expand and move freely underneath this. I didn't want to screw it down to the ground, it's just screwed to the walls and the shelf. And this part I'm super impressed with. Just a little bit of candle wax. You rub that on the door panels, and it's wild how well this works. Look at how well these drawers slide now. And they go in really easy because the top slot is taller. It is kind of weird that I'm just like working next to this toilet and it's, you know, we've been using it. I don't smell anything, so that's good, but it is a little weird just working in this room next to, yeah. Feels good to be finally done. The door isn't perfect, but it looks a lot better. We didn't really strip the paint right off, but it'll be good for now. I am super thrilled with how this turned out. I feel like people aren't really used to waterless toilets, so I did install a flush button for them. This looks and feels and smells so clean now, and it's really gonna make coming here just a little bit more comfortable for us and our guests, and I could not be happier with this setup.